across North Alabama, we're still seeing some spot food shortages and some shortages of some other items that are needed right now, as stores are continuing to try to keep up with demand that's caused by the coronavirus concerns.
Like most of us, people in Decatur and Morgan County have fewer grocery food choices, and they're wondering when things will turn around. Joining us on the phone right now is Morgan County EMA Director Eddie Hicks. Eddie, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning to you.
All right, let's start out. How bad is the food spot shortage there in Morgan County?
Well, I think the basic thing is you can get food, so it's not like people just don't have anything to go to pick up when they go to the store. Their choices are limited. So, someone told me that said, well, for the first time, asparagus was my choice. But that may have just been that they haven't replenished the shelves. But you also have to understand that our normal system for having food on the shelves is based on normal activities plus a little bit of surge. Well, when people started panic buying, they bought up a lot of supplies for months, and so it depleted the supplies. And it's just going to take a while, to catch up. Another example is the fresh meat. It takes a while to go from the slaughterhouse to the packing processes and then to get into stores. So it's just going to take a while for that to get there. We are monitoring that, and at this point, we're not doing anything to provide emergency food sources. There, that is always a contingency in every community in the state.
That's good, that you don't have to go to emergency supplies right now. But Eddie, when you're talking to the grocery owners, those that supply the food and so on, any idea, you said it's going to be a while, any idea how long that's going to take?
I really haven't pressed them. They just told me that eventually the supply would generally catch up. I'm sure that every item is not necessarily going to be on the shelf as quick as we would like, because sometimes you have to wait for the growing season to replenish that supply. So, outside of bringing in food from, say, South America, which the growing season is going on now, and they would have a supply of food, it'll take us to, California and Florida and the places that can grow earlier will be part of that. And right now they're growing the food, the fresh foods is one of the things that they're primarily looking at.
Eddie, what kind of items are hard to find? We know toilet paper, paper towels, fresh meat, but what other items out there are people having a hard time getting their hands on?
Well, at one time there was a shortage of bread, and so I just happened to be in the grocery store last night, and what this company had done was that they didn't have a lot of variety, but they had the white bread and white sandwich bread, and they had just, shelves of it. So what they did is they worked with their distributor to concentrate on at least having some kind of bread, so you would have that. Generally, the milk was short for a while, but it seems to have caught up. I think the eggs, there's not an extra supply of eggs, but it seems like there was a hit on them to begin with, and so that has caught up. So we're seeing that.
Eddie, we know you've been at your job there for well over 40 years, if you will. I mean, you've seen something probably not like this, but something similar. I mean, how long do you think it's going to take before things will start returning to normal?
Well, let me first go in. I did just a little bit of studying back about the different pandemics that we've had. In 2002, SARS was there. And then in 2009, we had the H1N1, which was sometimes it was a bird flu, sometimes it was a swine flu. But then the real interesting was 100 years ago, we had the Spanish flu, which when they were building Wilson Dam, the reason I knew about it was there were stories about a lot of their workers were decimated and actually passed on. And so it slowed the building of Wilson Dam for a while. But in researching that, 1/4 of the world's population at that time was infected with what they called the Spanish flu at that time.
So are we thinking weeks, months, in your opinion?
Well, that's hard to tell.
Okay.
Our president wants us to move on faster because he's worried about the economy. Some of the other folks are saying, a lot longer. I really don't know. We are trying to get a better answer than that, because our job is to plan for what we're dealing with, and we are looking for at least the next 4 weeks to 6 weeks that we will be actively involved in different type things to halt the spread of the current situation.
All right, Eddie Hicks, Morgan County EMA Director, thank you so much again for your time this morning.
Just glad to. Thanks.